Hello everyone, my name is Joe Kmenzik and this is my Math CA for the 6 trigonomic ratios. And so my teaching tool, all you need to do is draw the two special right triangles. The first one is the 45, 45, 90 triangle, and we know from geometry that the side lengths are 1, 1, and root 2. And then the other triangle is the 30, 60, 90 special right triangle, and the sides are 1, root 3, and 2. And that's all the teaching tool you will need to ace the 6 trig functions. You'll also need to know SOHCAHTOA, which is sine, cosine, tangent, and their little cheat sheet to know how to do it. For sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse. For cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. And for tangent, opposite over adjacent. And so, when you get to a test and you have this problem, sine over 60, what you want to do is first start by drawing a normal graph, and you're going to have S, A, T, and C, and that stands for All Scholars Take Calculus, and this is just a way to remember the positive and negatives in this one. So it's positive, positive in this one, negative, positive in this one, negative, negative in this one, and positive, negative in this one. And so basically it means all things are negative, or all things are positive in this, sine is positive in this, tangent is positive in this, and cosine is positive in this. Alright, now to the problems. So for the sine of 60, you know that for sine, opposite over adjacent, so you're going to go to 60 degrees. You see that the opposite is root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. So is the answer to sine of 60, root 3 over 2. And that's no, because this is the definition of a special right triangle of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So that is correct. Next, we have the cosine of 225. So we know that this is 180 degrees, and then 225 minus 180 is 45. So it's basically just a 45, it's the 45, 45 triangle. And so it's the cosine, so adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be 1 over root 2. But if you come down here, we know that 1 over root 2 is actually the same as root 2 over 2. And so that's the actual answer, is root 2 over 2. But since we are down here, below the x-axis, it's negative. So it's negative root 2 over 2. That's the answer to that one. Now, for the sine of 300, remember, 180 degrees, 300 minus 180 is 120. So that would be 30 degrees, so it's a 60. We go here, it's a 60 degree. We go sine opposite over hypotenuse, root 3 over 2. But since we're down here, it's negative. So it's negative root 3 over 2. Alright, now it gets a little bit trickier when you have tangent. The tangent of 315 degrees. So 180, and then 315 minus 180 is, let me do the math right here. Can't do it off the top of my head. Sorry about that. 120 is 135. So it's a 45, 45 triangle. And we know that tangent is opposite over adjacent. So it'd just be 1 over 1. So the tangent of 315 is actually just 1. Pretty simple when you think about it. Alright, now some negatives. The sine of negative 135. So we know that negative, it goes this direction. So this is 90, and then 135 is 45. So it's the 45, 45 triangle. So we go here, sine opposite over hypotenuse, 1 over root 2. But as we saw earlier, which is the same thing as root 2 over 2, it's in the tangent quadrant, it would be negative. So it's negative root 2 over 2. Alright, now we have to go multiple times around this graph. So 360 degrees, and then 540 degrees, that's actually just 180. So we're right here, so it's the cosine. And if you think about it, it's cosine theta, sine theta. In a sense, that's very similar to x and y. So in a sense, cosine's like y, and that point is right here. So if you think about it, cosine is just negative 1. And in the unit circle, all of these radiuses are 1. So if you think about it, you're just going 1 unit over to the left, so negative 1. Alright, tangent of negative 450. So we go around once, 360 degrees, 450 minus 360 is 90, so that would be on the sine axis. But since there's no triangle here and it's tangent, that means it's undefined. Alright, now, the secant of 390 degrees. And we know that the secant is the opposite of cosine, so it would be hypotenuse over adjacent. So first, find 390, 360, and then a 30. So we're right here, 30. And then it would be 2 over root 3, hypotenuse over adjacent. We know that CSC, cosecant, is the opposite of sine, so CSC would be hypotenuse over adjacent. So negative 120, we're going this way. That would be here, 30 degrees from that axis, so it would have a 60 degree reference angle. So 60, it would be hypotenuse over opposite. So 2 over root 3. Since we're down here, it's negative. So negative 2 over root 3 is the answer to that one. And for our last one, the cotangent, cot, of 210 degrees. And we know that COT is just the opposite of tangent. So it's adjacent over opposite. And so cotangent 210, 180 degrees. 30 more, it has a reference angle of 30 degrees, but that's 210. Oh, so it's in this triangle. So we go adjacent over opposite. So that would be root 3 over 1, which is just root 3. So the answer to that one is root 3. So basically, if you go into a test and you can't memorize the unit circle, all you need to know is the two special right triangles, basic definition of SOHCAHTOA, and which ones are positive, and that's all you'll need to know to become a master of the trigonomic functions.